And this is that time of the morning on Tuesday when we touch base with this dude cycle. He is Dr. John Braccio at Regional Psychological Services, drjohnb.com on the web. Are you or someone you know a shopaholic? Hey, good morning, Doc. How are you?
Well, good morning to you, Mike. And this is an issue for a lot of people. Everybody may periodically fall into a shopaholic spending spree. Now, for clarification, we're not talking about the person who has a compulsive shopping disorder, or CSD, to the level they are in severe financial distress with resulting anxiety and depression because of their compulsion. No, we're talking about the person who spends too much money on shopping and desires to control the spending urges. A person with a severe compulsion to buy who cannot stop on their own very likely needs to find a therapist experienced in compulsive behavior and potentially a group to sort out the problem. Now, the problem we are discussing here is when being a shopaholic leads to you spending beyond your means or simply wasting money, spending on things you don't need but feel you want in the moment. It's the moment you say, I want that. Okay, when you decide to quit being a shopaholic, a simple plan to start, begins with cutting up the credit card and waiting a week before buying something you want. Okay, now, then you want to designate a period of time to only get what you need when you need it. This is much easier said than done. During this period, Mike, on a daily basis, determine what motivates you. Why are you doing this buying? Where do the urges come from? Well, you need to take control of this, okay? So typical reasons would be internet ads, deals with retailers you commonly buy, shopping trips with friends or family, peer pressure to buy, surfing sites like Amazon, or a bargain you cannot resist, or a desire to own something regardless of your need. Now, if you want to effectively stop being a shopaholic, you need to distinguish between need and want. Many people have a problem with this distinction. You need to do it to control your shopaholic spending habits, whether you're 15 or 80 years old. Minimizing shopping trips with friends or family can help. Most people can remember coming home from shopping or a shopping trip, with many things they really do not need and not even sure they want after they have them. Now, being willing to return things that you determine you really don't need or you didn't use them at all is really the process. This is part of the process of stopping being an alcoholic or shopaholic. Same idea, but a little different direction. The more you do this, the more you will realize how many things you buy that you do not need. It is a wise thing to look at how many clothes or books or whatever you have bought and see if you ever really use them, okay? This is a serious thing. Why hopefully on a much smaller scale you may find you have become Imelda Marcos in the present. Now, you might remember that during her period as the First Lady of the Philippines, she had at least 1,060 pairs of shoes. Now, you don't want to fall into the pattern of going shopping and talking about how much you saved while ignoring or not, wanting to admit how much you spent. It is difficult to stop being a shopaholic, but now is a good time to start. So a lot of people, like maybe most people at one time or another, find themselves spending too much, okay? But when you get to the point that you really need to take a time out and sort out what you're going to do, you really do have to back off, because there are a lot of people that just have a house loaded with things they don't use, loaded with things that really were not in need. Just they have this thing, I want that, or this temptation to buy. So you really do have to take control, and just good thing to do really is to just take a time out, sit down, decide what you're buying, what you want it, you need it. And like I said, it's easy to have a problem with that. How does that? I think it's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you really need and what do you really want? So if you control this, it can make your life a lot easier. Otherwise, you're just going to find that you're just, just filling your house with things you really don't need, and you really can run into some real problems financially.
Yeah, juggling different credit cards and just trying to fill that gap. I want to go back, though, because explain to me the difference, because they seem like exactly the same thing, compulsive shopping disorder and shopaholicism or whatever.
Shopaholic.
Shopaholic.
Okay, well,
There's a difference there, but
yeah,
it seems like that's the same thing.
Well, here's the thing. The compulsive shopping disorder is a person who this is so severe to the point that you can end up losing your home. You can end up, you're just completely out of control. Okay, you cannot control your spending, and it can really lead to the total destruction of your life if you get to that point. There are people that do that. They're shopaholics that spend a lot of money, buy a lot of things, but they're able to contain it. Okay, it may be difficult at times, but the compulsive shopping disorder is a severe, even a disability, call it what you will, that you just go to the point that you could even be taking out loans on your home to just take care of your spending desires. It's the kind of person who, and often the people that really have this, either stage, today we're talking about just people that need to control what they're doing. But if you have the compulsive shopping disorder, that's really a very severe condition. And it's like being an alcoholic. It's like being somebody who just can't control. It's really you can't control yourself. Where what we're talking about are just the person who is just spending way too much money. Okay, hopefully not to the point that it destroys your lives. If you get to that point, then you really do have a particular mental health condition that you have to deal with. But the person we're talking about is maybe almost anybody, but just is buying the compulsiveness. They say, I like that. I think I'll buy that. Or they go shopping with friends, and all of a sudden they come home with all these bags, and then they look at them and they say, I really do need another
What did we do? Yeah. Yeah. We're up on time. Doc Braccio, this is an interesting one for me. I don't know, a shopaholic. But if it gets to that level, you got to get some help. drjohnb.com on the web, regional psychological services. Doc, I think you may have touched a nerve with some folks this morning, but hopefully a good nerve. As always, we'll chat again next week. Thank you, my friend.
Good talking, buddy. Bye-bye.
See ya. 1320 WILS 78.